This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Tesla is spending a lot more time in court these days, and it's got some good news and some bad news. First, the good. It just won a case in China against a woman who claimed that the brakes on her Model 3 malfunctioned and caused an accident. She went viral at the Shanghai Auto Show in 2021, wearing a shirt that said "brake failure" in Chinese. Tesla sued the woman, and a court ruled that there was no defect with her brakes. So it ordered her to pay damages, cover the cost for evaluating her car, and publicly apologizing to Tesla. Okay, now the bad news. A U.S. judge in Florida is allowing a lawsuit over Tesla's autopilot system to go to trial because he said there is, quote, reasonable evidence that Elon Musk and Tesla were, quote, acutely aware that there was a defect in the system, but they still allowed the cars to be driven. The lawsuit involves a fatal crash in 2019 in which a Model 3 owner drove under the trailer of a semi-truck that crossed its path and sheared off the roof, killing that driver. Autopilot never detected the truck. So the judge ruled that the man's family can proceed with the lawsuit and seek punitive damages from Tesla for intentional misconduct and gross negligence. We've got a lot of battery news today, and we'll start out with this report on Northvolt, the Swedish battery company. As you know, everybody is working on batteries that have fewer critical materials, which are mostly controlled by China. And Northvolt is one of the first to come out with sodium-ion cells, which replace materials like lithium, nickel, cobalt, and graphite with iron and sodium. Because those materials are much more abundant and easier to get, sodium-ion batteries are cheaper to make. Some estimates put the current cost of sodium-ion batteries around $80 to $85 per kilowatt hour, compared to about $125 per kilowatt hour for an average lithium-ion battery. And with the same kind of scale as lithium, they'll be even cheaper. They're also safer, especially at high temperatures. So you might be wondering, why don't we hear more about sodium-ion batteries? Well, the cells produced by Northvolt have an energy density of 160 watt-hours per kilogram, which is about half of today's lithium-ion batteries. That means they're really not suited for cars right now, and why Northvolt will first use them for energy storage. However, it didn't say when we would see those systems. Speaking of battery chemistries, there's been a lot of headlines made about solid-state batteries being the breakthrough needed for mass EV adoption. So you might be a little disappointed at Toyota's production targets for the technology. According to its own in-house media outlet, the automaker will start coming out with solid-state batteries in 2027 or 2028. But even by the end of the decade, it will only have enough capacity to make, quote, several tens of thousands of vehicles. Ford is cutting back on its EV battery plans because it says EV adoption is not growing at the pace it expected. So it's slashing its investment, output, and number of new jobs at the battery plant it's building in Michigan with CATL. Ford is trimming $1.5 billion from its budget, will hire 1,700 new workers instead of 2,500, and will make 20 gigawatt hours of batteries instead of 35 gigawatt hours. Production of the LFP, or lithium iron phosphate cells, starts in 2026, and once it hits its 20 gigawatt hour output, that will be enough to power around 230,000 EVs. But while Ford is scaling back its EV operations, Stellantis is building its up, literally. It officially started construction of its new battery center in Windsor, Ontario. Stellantis will use the site to test batteries. For example, it has 35 climate test cells, and it will also have the ability to make development battery packs. The battery center is part of its $2.8 billion investment to make EVs in Canada, and Stellantis expects the new site to be open in the middle of next year.
At Teijin Automotive Technologies, we combine world-class composite materials expertise with cutting-edge designs because, frankly, there are better ways to lightweight vehicles. So lighten up with Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Hertz and EV charging network EVgo are partnering to offer people who rent EVs special charging rates. Drivers who sign up for the promotion and rent any EV model through Hertz can use any EVgo station across the U.S. with no monthly subscription fee or session fees for 1 year. But the deal is only available to new EVgo customers who sign up for an EVgo account for a limited time only. And the charging rates will vary depending on the region and time of day. And in other EV charging news, Tesla is now charging a congestion fee at some Supercharger locations in the U.S. to shorten session times. It's charging $1 per minute after you reach 90% state of charge. Owners will receive a message if the station has a congestion fee, and there's a 5-minute grace period. This new congestion fee is replacing the idle fee that it introduced a few years back that would limit owners to only an 80% state of charge at busy stations. Remember like 5 to 7 years ago when pretty much everybody was talking about truck platooning? But even then, it was not a new idea. That's where a number of semi-trucks, usually up to 3, essentially play follow the leader. They're all wirelessly connected to each other, so they know when the others are going to speed up, brake, or turn, and the 2 trucks behind go exactly where the lead truck takes them. The goal is to dramatically increase productivity because it allows one human driver to control multiple trucks. The first experiments with truck platooning actually started in Europe during the late 1980s under a program called Prometheus. While that did not lead directly to platooning on public roads, the idea is still alive and kicking. And in China, Pony.ai just got permission to test level 4 platooning on public roads around the city of Guangzhou. It says platooning allows trucks to drive really close together so they can literally draft each other for better aerodynamics and fuel efficiency. Looks like Tesla and Toyota are not the only ones interested in a Yoke steering wheel. Geely, the car brand that's a collaborative effort between Geely and Baidu, is offering customers the choice of a steering wheel yoke at no extra cost over a regular steering wheel. Geely says the yoke really improves visibility of the big screen that sits on top of its instrument panel of its '01 model. And being able to see out of that screen is super important because Geely got rid of all the physical controls in the car, including the gear selector, shift paddles, center console buttons, and even the door handles. All those operations are done through that big screen. Carbon Revolution, the Australian company that makes carbon fiber wheels, is going to open a factory in North America because it sees strong growth ahead. Up till now, its wheels have been aimed at high-performance cars, since the lighter wheels can improve handling and cornering speeds. But their lightweight efficiency is also making them attractive for big SUVs and electric vehicles. Jake Dingle, the CEO of Carbon Revolution, tells Autoline that they're developing a 24-inch wheel for a major OEM program that saves 15 kilograms or 33 pounds over an aluminum wheel. That's a savings of 132 pounds for all 4 wheels and 165 pounds if you include the spare. And that kind of weight savings for bolt-on technology is the kind of solution that automakers love to see. And a programming note here, the Autoline staff will be off for the next 2 days for the Thanksgiving holiday. So there won't be an Autoline Daily or an Autoline After Hours while we're off. But we will be back here on Monday. And for those of you who are celebrating Thanksgiving, we hope you have a wonderful holiday.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. Borg Warner, propulsion solutions that support a clean, energy-efficient world. Scheffler, we pioneer motion. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
At CES January 9th through 12th, 2024, Intrepid's looking forward to seeing you at our booth 3666 Las Vegas Convention Center in the West Hall. We'll be demonstrating the latest and greatest in software-defined vehicles and zonal architectures, automotive Ethernet technologies like 10-base T1S and multi-gigabit. See you at CES 2024 Las Vegas Convention Center in West Hall booth 3666 or visit intrepidcs.com/sales.
At Schaeffler, we pioneer motion. Electrifying mobility, manufacturing smarter, reducing CO2 emissions, making energy production clean. Schaeffler pioneers motion to advance how the world moves.
Wards is the industry leader for news, data, and analysis. That's why companies across the globe subscribe to our premium service, maybe even your own. Log in for subscriber access now. Check your company's intranet for details and rely on wardsauto.com to keep you informed.